Bastion on the track. Bastion on the track.
Welcome back to the Why So Serious podcast. I'm your host, Brandon. We got Devin here. Mike is en route. He may be jumping in. Devin, just keep an eye on the text
Copy.
if he messages us so we can get Mike in here. But we are back. Another week. Another excellent episode of excellent. This show, man.
If you're a comic book fan, Brandon, but you're a comic book fan, are you getting everything you want from this show?
Yeah, Mike called me because those of you on the podcast who's been listening for years, and some of you watching on streaming on YouTube. Before we get into it, you can find us on YouTube at The Cool Black Nerd, on Twitter at The Cool Black Nerd, on Facebook, same thing, streaming live every week. If you listen to it by podcast, you can find the Why So Serious podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, anywhere you get your podcast app. Leave us a 5-star review if you like the show, and we'll read it on the show. We'll read the review on the show. But this show, one of the things I've been doing this entire time that I've been doing podcasts is how much I hate the X-Men movies. And
Absolutely,
we talked about it for years and years and years, for 10 years now, and that's been a constant on this show. And it's because I got into comic books reading the X-Men in the 90s, and then I went back and read Chris Claremont's X-Men from the 70s and 80s. And then I watched this TV show growing up, and it's like, those movies aren't the X-Men. I don't know what those movies are, but they ain't the X-Men.
No, not at all.
And this show makes you feel like the X-Men. And so what's funny is Mike calls me today because he's going to tell me he's running late for the show. And he calls me and he says, Brandon, I didn't really watch the X-Men growing up because, my age group, the X-Men movies were what we watched.
You sound gravelly, sir. You
I know.
that? Like, I don't know if it's the mic.
No. I'm doing Mike's voice.
Okay.
But now that I watch this show, I get what everybody is older than me that was talking about. I see why people like the X-Men. Those movies suck. And I was like, yes, those movies suck. I mean, all of them weren't the worst movies. I liked First Class.
That was the best one.
A little bit. X2 had the Nightcrawler scene, which is a fantastic scene.
Yeah.
And then there's the rest of the movies. And there's the rest of the X-Men movies. And I know someone listening is like, Days of Future Past is a good movie. No, it's not. No, it's not. It's not a good movie. It's not a good movie at all. In fact, it's one of the worst movies they've done because they erased their entire that movie was completely pointless after the end of the fucking movie. You watch that movie only for it to mean nothing. At the end of that movie, they fixed the universe, right? And they cut back, and it's the Jean Grey School of Higher Learning, right? So it's the Jean Grey School, which is what happened in the book. Okay. And you see Logan there, and everybody's there. Jean's back alive. You think everything's good. And then the next movie you get is X-Men Apocalypse.
Oh.
And that's bad enough that we don't ever go back to that universe. But when we finally do come back to that universe, what we get is Logan, which I've said it many times, is an excellent movie, terrible X-Men movie.
Yeah.
Logan takes place in that Days of Future Past universe, and they telling us that Logan takes place like 5 or some years, something like that, 4 or 5 years after the end of Days of Future Past. So after Logan fixes everything and everything's hunky-dory and perfect and great, the next time we pick up is a few years later, and all the mutants are dead, Professor X is senile, Logan is losing his powers, and it's a complete shit show, and they never really explain why.
I never watched any of those movies. Was Patrick Stewart?
Yes, he was in. Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
But anyway, we're here to talk about X-Men 97, Episode 8, Tolerance Is Extinction, Part 1, which is a hell of a name. Devin, what did you think about this episode?
again, I couldn't be happier that I get to live in a world where they get this right, and I've grown, we matured, and the storytelling of this show is just it's amazing. It's sometimes I don't even know that I'm looking at a cartoon. This is how good the storytelling is. Like, first of all, Kirk Wagner, that boy good. That boy good. Kirk Wagner be out here acting. He be acting. He loves his sister, Rogue. We got Wolverine doing Wolverine shit. Wolverine is finally becoming Wolverine. Like, I love that part. I was a Cable fan. I mean, I didn't know about his psychic ability until you told me about it. But I was a Cable fan just because he had big ass guns and he's cool. He's big as shit. Didn't know why he was that big. I still don't know why he's that big. Scott's not that big.
Because Cable is the epitome of the 90s. There's no character.
He's Hulk Hogan. Okay, cool.
No, Hulk Hogan's the epitome of the 80s. Cable is the 90s. There's no character that's more 90s than Cable. Giant muscles, paramilitary suits, fucking futuristic tech that's like gigantic, right? Like everything's not smaller, it's just bigger. Just big as shit. Big ass guns, 1 million fucking guns. Just if you see him fighting, it's in the books, it's just like it's the epitome. Like, I don't even know if you, especially in they even toned Cable down in the show.
Absolutely.
Cable is toned down in the show in
he's
terms
such
of like
an asshole in the books. Yeah, he's such an asshole.
I'm just talking about how he looks. He's toned down in the show.
Oh yeah, as far as muscles, yeah, definition stuff like yeah.
Because in the comic books, he's fucking just
10 feet
insane.
Tall. He's like 10 feet tall. I don't like. I've seen comics like he's fucking like. Who the fuck is supposed to be this guy? Who? He's as big as Sabretooth is.
Yes. 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 That is a good one. Yes, he's as big as Sabretooth, and he's gigantic. But yeah, so that was, I mean, I enjoyed this episode so much. It was so real. It was so many like real life allegories, so much real life representation. We got a ton of cameos, like a million cameos.
A million.
I mean, we see Spider-Man. We saw Silver Samurai. We saw Omega Red. We saw Baron Zemo. We saw Doctor Doom. We saw, I think we saw Doom. Eric Killmonger. Like, it was.
Hold on, who's that? Who? Where?
When Bastion was talking to Doom, and all those people on them TVs. One of them looked like Killmonger.
Oh, the one with the shadow, because I guess that's.
Yeah, one of them looked like Killmonger.
Okay.
So like they're setting up, like they're basically telling you all these motherfuckers are in this universe. Like they're all
the
here.
Illuminati's here, yeah.
They're all here, but not just Illuminati. Like all your characters, all your favorite Marvel characters are here, and they're basically telling us we can use these motherfuckers. Like that's what the show is telling us. Like if we want to use these motherfuckers, we can use these motherfuckers. We can do it.
So are we gonna get like a Rick and Morty? Like we can do this shit for 10 years, 20 years? And then, like, do you feel like that shit? Like you feel like we can just keep going with this shit? Like
I think that this show will get at least 5 seasons.
Okay.
Would be my guess. I'd be willing to bet that we get at least 5 seasons on this show.
So will we get the Fantastic Four under this title?
What do you mean? Like in this show?
Yeah, like just like so 97, but will we get the Fantastic Four shot in Spider-Man form, shot in this like cartoon, this animation?
Like a Fantastic Four comic cartoon?
Yeah, just like so it's under the X-Men umbrella of 97. But Reed Richards does all this shit in this universe. So will it be under the X-Men shit, or will you think?
What are you asking? Are we going to get a Fantastic Four cartoon? Or are we going to see the Fantastic Four in X-Men 97?
Are we going to get a Fantastic Four story? Because they're intertwined with the X-Men and the comic books.
Well, I mean, they all. That's
what I'm saying. So, like, do you think we will get like maybe a series of what Reed Richards does in the X-Men universe? Like I don't know. You know all the comic books as far as
I still don't understand what you're asking.
Okay, what I'm saying is, are we gonna get the Fantastic Four in a story that involves the X-Men, like the actual story?
So we're
like,
gonna get a cameo.
Yeah, maybe a cameo, or even just like a side story, like it's spent like one off. Like we got Gambit story, or we get like we did the what the fuck is the cartoon the video game shit? What the fuck is the video game name? The episode. What is that? The MODOK shit. Well, not MODOK, but what the fuck is the video game, dude?
I have no idea what the hell you're talking
about. The episode this season on X-Men.
Oh, Nintendo.
No, Nintendo shit. Like, so like, will we get like a one-off like that? You know what I mean? Like half episode of something like with the Fantastic Four doing some shit.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's possible. Like in the universe.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I imagine next season we're going to see a lot more than what we saw this season, because this was just like getting everybody's feet wet, getting their taint wet. That's how they would say it. By the way, remember when I was talking about Cable, right? So this right here, this is Cable in the comic books in the 90s. He's so fucking hardcore. Like, look at this. Like, look at this guy.
All head, all shoulders, no head.
Look at this. Like, look at this outfit. Like the hair, the ring, like everything. Like, what are we doing? Like, this such a ridiculous concept.
Are these cybernetic arms?
One of his arms is cybernetic. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, he has a cybernetic arm. So yeah.
Because every time I saw him, like back in the day, I'm like, he got silver arms. Why the fuck he got silver arms? I didn't know.
Cable is insane. But no, this episode, let's get into this episode. So it kicks off basically
with Cyclops did the recap.
Cyclops did the recap. It's basically Cyclops and Jean and Cable. And
it's the Summers family.
Cyclops and Jean are talking, and he feels bad about sending his baby to the future. He's like, I sent my baby to the future, and I don't even know how to be a daddy. He's like, I hanged around with Xavier all them years, and the one thing I ain't get is how to be a daddy. And I'm like, I don't know if Xavier is the best daddy. I don't know. They want us to believe Xavier is the best daddy.
Hey, bro, when you told me about the fucking Jean shit, when Harry was creeping on Jean in the comic books, like, you're right. We can't do that. We can't go that way. Like, not good.
No, we can't go that way. No. And Jean's like, trying to console him and be like, he came back in time because he needs his daddy. No, he didn't. He did not come back in time because he needs his daddy.
How many times has Cable jumped?
Like a million times.
Yeah, like
a million times when he slides. They call it sliding when he goes in time. When he be sliding through time. That's all he does. That's all the shit Cable does. Like, he ain't come back for you. He came back to do what he said because his future is shit. And the last time we saw him in the future, Apocalypse was fucking him up, and he's trying to figure out, like, how the fuck do I fix this shit? Because I know it's bad.
So then we get the summer family reunion. They on a fucking family's road trip and shit.
Yeah, then they're in their Did you see the video I sent you in the group chat?
No, I just saw the Airbnb shit. I just saw the title. I didn't get a chance to actually look at it.
So they got an Airbnb that's the X Mansion, and it has all the rooms in it, just like the X Mansion.
From the movie? Or like the cartoon?
No, from like the comic book. Like somebody made an Airbnb, made it look like the X Mansion in the comic book. But anyway, I was gonna play that, but I'll pull it up later. But they're meeting in their meeting room and shit, and
Cable is doing a briefing.
Cable is giving them a briefing on Bastion. And he's basically telling them about Bastion and what Bastion's all about and who he is.
What's pause for the cause though? Thank you, and thank you for this show. So to hold my hand and walk me up to what the fuck is really going on, because I had no idea who this motherfucker was, and I appreciate it.
Well, yeah, a lot of people didn't know who Bastion is. A lot of people pretended they knew who Bastion was. They didn't actually know who Bastion was. I've been reading comic books for 30 years. I knew who Bastion was, but I didn't know his whole shit. I just knew his general get down. And his general get down is he fucks people up and he's mad clever. And we saw that here. But Cable basically says, Bastion planned this shit from the beginning. He's got some shit on y'all. We don't know what it is. What is Beast is like, what is Bastion? Cable says, best I can tell is he's some type of android that's had a master mode uploaded to him, which is an easy way to it's an easier way to explain his backstory.
He's every single thing ever there was plus master mode in the other one.
Yeah, I mean his actual backstory is he's like a combination of master mode and a Nimrod, and he can look like a person. It's a lot.
So it's pretty much his daddy fault. His daddy fault. They
Bo DeMaio, the showrunner,
who got fired.
He told people on Twitter to go back and watch this episode from the original series, and in that episode on the original series is where Nimrod came back in town to try to murder Xavier, and they can't really beat a Nimrod. So anyway, the way they beat Nimrod was they blasted his time wristband, like the one Bishop had earlier in the season that needed to be fixed, and that basically sent him back into time. Or so we thought. But what they showed this episode is what actually happened was like his essence or something of that nature ended up getting into his Bastion's daddy. Well, okay. Bastion wasn't alive at this time, but Bastion's daddy.
That's the pink shit they got the janitor.
Yes. Yep. And then he went
and beat them cheeks at his wife. He beat his wife's cheeks, and they had a kid.
Yes, because they can reproduce. And he basically went there and reproduced and made Bastion. And Bastion ass came out looking pink and weird, and everybody made fun of his ass because he didn't look like nobody else. But he, unlike other Sentinels, because the thing about the Sentinels that's funny, that's like a really good allegory of like rich people with like poor white people and how they vote and stuff, is like they say like they trick y'all to voting against these other people even though they don't really fuck with you either. Like the Sentinels' whole thing is that they're designed to kill mutants,
right?
But ultimately, a mutant is just an evolved human, and so ultimately, their programming tells them we gotta fucking get rid of the humans too, and they end up.
So I felt that and didn't.
Oh, looks like Devin dropped. You all right? You don't have no sound. No, you don't have no sound. Okay. So Devin's dropped. He'll be back in a second. Not sure what happened there. But yeah, the X-Men, the Sentinels end up turning on the humans all the time at every timeline because the X-Men, because humans become mutants. Mutants are people. People are bad, and the robots need to rule shit. And so that's how that shit always works out. So they basically give that plan. They're like, listen, we got to figure this shit out. We need to go there directly and stop that shit.
All right, so I just got a text message from my man Moon, and he was like, I'm not a fan, and I didn't fucking watch the last episode. Like I ain't giving no chill. That's what he said. So again, Moon, I need you to put some shit in the chat, because when you text me, kick me off the goddamn internet. I don't know. But yeah. So Bastion Daddy put that. So okay, the fucking virus that Cable has, is that uploaded to anybody? Or that's not? That's not a thing.
Yeah, they said that. Well, we'll get to that in a little bit. But yeah, they basically said that Bastion created these Prime Sentinels using the techno-organic virus. We'll get to that. Oh, I found it. So, bit of a side note. Here is, so we found out today on Twitter that someone bought a big ass house somewhere and then completely redesigned it to make it look like the X Mansion.
That shit crazy.
So this is a video of it for those watching live. For those of you on Twitter, I'm sorry. you won't be able to see
Yo,
it.
that's wild.
They got a big ass Sentinel here, but wait till you see the inside. You go inside, it looks just like the X Mansion. They got the whole hallways painted. They got Xavier, all the X-Men's pictures up on the wall, framed and shit. There's Charles. Look at that. Look at the meeting room where they all sit around the table. They got Cerebro hanging there that you can put on your head.
That's wild.
Look, they got a whole ass danger room.
That's what I was waiting for. Oh my god.
They got a whole ass danger room in this fucking house.
I'm really fucking like fanboy. Crazy.
Look at this. I need to know how much this costs. Look, there go Beast Lab. Got his whole ass lab there with fake shit. It looked like, you know what it looks like? It's like the material stuff is like when you go to Disney World and shit, and they got like those rooms of like of the movies and stuff that you go through, but they make it look really cool and real, but like it still kind of looks cartoonish. That's kind of what this looks like. Look, there go Wolverine's room with his fucking cow. He got a bench press in his fucking room. If they had the fucking picture, they got the goddamn picture. Oh man, now I'm tripping. There's Jubilee's room.
I really thought you seen it. This is wild.
I only watched part of it. I didn't watch the second part of it. There go Jubilee's room. Gumball machine. Oh, they got the X-Men arcade in the joint. There's Xavier's room. Got his whole office. This shit is fucking cool as shit. Xavier and Magneto pictures.
So when do you want to get the fucking Wolverine Sabretooth, Wolverine Omega Red shit? You want to wait season 3, season 2? What do you want?
Well, they wouldn't show it to us now if we weren't getting it next season. They got a whole ass X-Men locker room.
That shit is wild, yo. Can we talk about how where the fuck are they getting these S-Jets from? Because they keep blowing these motherfuckers up.
Well,
where are they getting them from?
Know, comic book shit. Beast just be making them motherfuckers.
Oh, okay, cool. Because like, he was like, Beast gonna be mad. What the fuck you mean? Who the fuck is paying for this shit?
So anyway, at the end of this conversation, we get back to the show. Cable, they're like, oh, so he's the reason for the fucking dystopian future. And Cable's like, nah, it's a utopian. Everything's great. Like it's futuristic, but we basically slaves. Except for mutants. Everything's great except for mutants. The rest of us, we either killed or we slave. We do all the jobs for these motherfuckers, but we don't get no money.
That shit is wild though. The depiction of this shit is so crazy because it will make you feel like we second-class citizens in this bitch. Like, and we not coming back up.
No, not second-class citizens. You are slaves. You're not citizens. The motherfuckers were slaves. But Cable tells them where one of Bastion's facilities are. Cyclops and him beef a little bit, and Jean butts in like a mama. It's like, let's just go out here.
Okay, so how do you feel that they're telling the story of Jean and Mark? What's her name? What is her name? Madeline. How do you feel like they're telling that story about them being connected as far as like, and then Nightcrawler again? Kirk Wagner is the MVP of this episode as far as putting shit into perspective. I mean, if you felt it, is it not real? So, like, how do you feel like they're navigating that? And then like Jean and Scott look like they back good. Like,
yeah, I mean, they was always gonna get back. Like Wolverine said in the early episode, Scott Summers, Jean Grey is how it's supposed to be. Until Emma steps in. But then the TV comes on, and somehow they got footage from across the universe. Across the motherfucking universe. Can you imagine tuning into TV? News from the Andromeda Galaxy. And then they see Professor Xavier getting the anointed emperor, which we saw a few episodes back. And they're like, them niggas is lying. Them mutant niggas has been lying to us. They Black King ain't dead. They made it seem like he was dead to get sympathy from us. But he ain't dead. He out there loving on some aliens, and he gonna get them aliens to come attack us. And so they cut to the Fox News shit, and they have a debate TV talking about, is it bad for the, is Xavier gonna come and get us, or the mutants bad and shit, which is great. They also they talked about, you know, every time Cable came back in time, he tried.
He didn't get it right.
Yeah, they were like, "Why didn't you just stop Genosha, you fucking prick?" Is what Wolverine said. And Cable's like, "Dog, every time I come back, this shit slides me right back out of that bit."
Right.
And Beast brings up Kamartat, which is what we learned in Marvel What If, is that sometimes there are absolute points in the universe that can't be changed. And if it's the absolute point, like when Doctor Strange kept going back in time to try to save that woman, and he could never save that woman, she just died a different way and died a different way and died a different way. And so they tied that shit in here, which was kind of really cool. Meanwhile, the shit that made me mad this episode.
What?
We cut to Jubilee and Roberto. DaCosta Sunspot.
But you knew that was happening.
And they stand with her mama. And she talking about holding the benefit for the victims of Genosha. Just some real shit.
Just a real shitty person. Real shitty corporation person.
Just like that bullshit ass sympathy. Much in the, her attitude is like before, where she's just like, I'm gonna get these donations. I guarantee that money's not going to mutants. I guarantee that money's not going to fight.
No, not at all.
And
that's the first Red Cross from fucking Hurricane Katrina shit.
They take a little. She take a little shot at X-Men, and Jubilee's like, "I've had enough of this shit." Okay, it's like when you date. It's like when you have an interracial couple, and you go to their white parents' house for the first time. Except both of them is mutants. They not interracial. They the same. Her mama's just an asshole.
They adopted. So Roberto's the adopted black kid, but he was raised white. So his mama think he can treat him white.
Oh, look, my mom's in the chat.
Hey, Mom.
She said the X-Men house is going to be a tourist attraction. Yes, it will be a tourist attraction.
I want it. I'm trying to go. Is it in Connecticut? Where's that?
Oh, I didn't even see where it was. That's an excellent question. So yes, they went to go shopping. Roberto got that money.
Retail therapy, that's what she said.
So if I'm Jubilee, I'm like, yo, you better take me shopping. I gotta sit here and get insulted by your mama.
Throw it in the bag. That boy doing throw it in the bag montage. Just throw it in the bag.
Then we see that Rogue's like in a coma, or she fucked up real bad. In bed. And Nightcrawler and Jean are over her. And this is what Devin's been talking about. Kurt telling the story about how, that's his sister, Mystique's his mama, Mystique's the asshole, but that ain't stopped them from being brothers and sisters just because we was distant. And you and Madeline had something. If you had that connection, that's the connection. And Jean's like, I felt that baby in my stomach kicking, and I got the memories even though it didn't happen. And Nightcrawler's like, I mean, if you remember it, it happened. It's a choice. Like that's what it is. Family's a choice. And that's
family is a choice.
Elsewhere, we see Valerie Cooper. I think one of you or Mike said that she might be a bad person.
She a mutant though. She got to be a goddamn mutant.
No, she's not a mutant. She's not a whole bad person. She was secretly working with.
Not getting in the goddamn mutant. She in a whole mutant situation. How the fuck is she not a mutant?
What do you mean?
You're not gonna believe you. I can't feel like she walking up in these mutant places, all muty places, with her broke ass arm, and they let her in there with a broke ass arm.
No, they didn't let her in there. They're working with her. She's in the UN.
I get it, but I feel like she a little mutant.
But she ain't know a lot of this shit. We find out that she been working with Bastion. She thought Bastion was just making some Sentinels in case the mutants go bad, like just in case. Like right. I like them. I like them people over there, but if they ever start an uprising, we need to be ready.
Right. They Batman the situation.
But I didn't think he was gonna fucking destroy their entire island. Like, I didn't think that was gonna happen. And she sees Magneto hanging up on the wall with an X, behind them, like a crucifix on the X crucifix.
They look like they're
And
about to do some BSM over there.
she goes to talk to him, and she like, look, I ain't know about all this shit.
Magneto ain't talked in weeks. That's what the fuck happening. He ain't talked in weeks.
No, Magneto ain't talking weak. And she's like, I ain't know this shit was gonna happen. Like they ain't tell me this shit. I wasn't in the loop. All I wanted to do was protect my people, but they went too far. I'm sorry. And they show Magneto open his eyes. I'm like, he about to be mad. Then we cut back to the mansion, and we see Beast and Trish come in there, and Beast like, oh, you ain't got your camera and microphone this time, Trish?
Hey, yo.
You not trying to use me for a quote? That's what he said.
Bro, he was so bad. Like, Beast is a sneaky link for this woman. Because it's a sneaky link situation now. It's not like that she give a fuck about this man. She trying to use this man for clickbait. All clickbait. But he's still beating them cheeks. Because you can tell he beating them cheeks. Because she wouldn't keep coming back if he won't beat the cheeks.
No, I don't think he's doing nothing yet. I think it's gonna come. Right now, he ain't fucking with her. He was mad at her. And she was like, look, I ain't bring no shit this time. I'm just here to support.
How would she get back in the good graces if the cheek beat won't happen?
Because he likes her, but it ain't happened yet. This Hank McCoy has standards. All right. Hank McCoy in the comic books has no standards.
Okay.
None. He would be with her if she hated mutants. It wouldn't matter.
Okay.
Hank McCoy in the comic book. Fuck him.
Hey Mike, how you doing, sir?
Well, what, Devin? Why didn't you tell me he was here? I could have done this more smoothly.
No, it's because Mike did the
Mike, turn your phone. This is so unprofessional. Turn your phone horizontal.
Mike did the grandma thing. He did the grandma thing. He was like. Oh, Mike, tell us what you thought about the episode, Mike.
Well, they said they went to Harmony. But it's Harmony. Are you proud of that?
No, because he's the bad guy. I wish it could have been anybody else. Let me back up a little bit. This looks.
Yeah, look at you, not being an old person.
I know. Well, I'll have to figure this out for the next time. But no, there's a Pittsburgh reference. I like the Pittsburgh reference, even though it's for the bad guy. Well, what did I? Where are we at in the episode? What did I miss?
You give us your recap. Of
no, we're not letting Mike take over the show after his ass is late.
Okay, cool. My bad.
He'll jump in. So this is when Cable, Cyclops, and Jean show up in Harmony. Is Harmony a real town, Michael?
No, not that I'm familiar with.
I looked this up, and it's a real town
in Pennsylvania.
Of course, Harmony is a real town. It's in Butler County. Where's that, Mike?
Oh, that's really close to me. I mean, it's the county right next to Allegheny.
Oh, thank you.
How do you not know this?
I don't live in Butler.
Oh God.
So what?
Do you know the towns in the county next to you?
Yes.
What? Really?
What?
I don't know.
Michael, you don't know about Howard County? You don't know about Prince George's County? You don't know about...
You know, I got to say, there's a difference between Pittsburgh and Washington. In Washington, when you leave those counties, there's other things. In Pittsburgh, when you leave Allegheny County, there's just like Amish people. I mean, that's it. I don't... I went even in the capital of, like, aside from Philly and Pittsburgh, there's nothing in Pennsylvania. Even if you go to the capital, it's just like farmers.
You still should know what's around your damn town. How far is this?
I know it's around.
How far is this from Pittsburgh?
I think it's the county right next door, but that's still pretty far. Like
I feel like there's a fucking map for this shit. This is terrible.
It is Harmony, Pennsylvania, is 25 minutes from Pittsburgh. I promise you, I know anything within 25 minutes of Baltimore.
I know you do.
About to look it up. I want to see.
Now you want to look it up. Now you want to look it up. Now you want to learn something, Michael. Okay, cool.
Shameful.
Not the whole time you lived in Pittsburgh. Okay, cool.
Shameful, Mike. Shameful.
It's very bad. It's very bad.
But yeah, they show up there and they at this house. They're like, this shit don't look like no Sentinel facility, and it's not. It's Bastion's house, and Jean's
His
like,
childhood home.
I sense another mind here, and she sees his mama sitting there, old as fuck, in a rocking chair, and she's like, my son told me y'all was gonna come for me tomorrow. Let me get you some cookies, and go in the kitchen and shit, and they basically.
It's super weird.
This is where we see the Jean is like touching shit and learning the backstory of Bastion. And this is how we see her daddy got infused with a Nimrod and gave birth to Bastion. Bastion's pink and ugly and not like nobody else. And so all the kids make fun of him, and all he can hear machines and shit. And his mama try to make him feel good about it. And he drawing pictures of genocide and destruction as a 7-year-old, because that's
that picture was fire though. That
But I
picture
have a
was
question.
Yeah.
So he's a mutant, right?
No.
Like, did you watch
What
the
the fuck are you
episode?
talking about?
Okay, that was my question because I was wondering why he was so.
He's a robot.
He was just infected with the technovirus.
That's not a mutant. That's not a mutant virus, Michael.
I know, but it just
My
looked
man
like
Travis said, Pennsatucky. That's Pennsylvania. Outside of
and by the
Pittsburgh
way,
and Philly.
it's
Pennsatucky.
40 minutes from my house.
Oh, 40 minutes.
Oh, that's so far, Mike. That's so far from your
It is
house.
far.
40 minutes. You drive 40 minutes to see your girlfriend. Often.
Yeah, but I have to sit in traffic. It's only like 3 miles away.
Damn.
I mean,
Damn.
big difference. I'm
that
talking
says a lot.
40 minutes of like 40 miles versus a couple miles.
No, but a 40-minute drive from me in Virginia Beach is Hampton.
You know, you know what, I'm gonna bring when Brandon finally visits Pittsburgh, I'm gonna show him Pittsburgh, and then I'm gonna drive him north, and I'm gonna show him why no one goes there.
Yeah,
I don't want to go there. I don't want to go
Why
there.
would you want to go? Exactly.
But
Yeah,
Pittsburgh
I
is
wouldn't
amazing.
wanna go.
I do love Pittsburgh. I love it. It's a great city.
Okay, my only question was, I was wondering why he hates mutants so much when it was people who were bad to him.
No, the people were good to him. His mama loved him. He's not a person. He's a robot.
Robot, yeah.
He's a sentinel. So his programming is to hate mutants.
Okay, so he was programmed. Okay. It looked like he was just infected, or he had his mutant activation. I don't know. It was
No, his daddy was a Nimrod.
His daddy got
a Nimrod is like the most OP mutant. I mean, OP sentinel. It can like
it's Sentinel with AI.
It can teleport. It can reconstitute itself. It's badass. It's like Sentinel Doomsday from Superman. But yeah, so they basically find out his whole backstory, and then his mama started doing like the fucking
Exorcist
shit, the exorcism shit, and she turned into a prime Sentinel and started fucking them up. They go outside, and Jean is like, "Hey, son, hey, stepson, our nephew.
You got some of the goddamn grenades.
Also,
is he nephew and a son?
Before you get into the fight, there were more references in this scene. There was a reference to the Stark Expo on the wall in one of the newspapers. There was a boy. I don't know if you caught it.
How do you notice this random shit? But you thought Bastion was a mutant.
I'm trying to pay attention. Okay, I didn't. When it was weird because his dad was infected before he was born, right?
Yes.
Right.
Okay, so when you watch it, they show him first, and then they show his dad. So to me, when I watched it, and it was so fast, it looked like his dad got infected after he was born. It was confusing.
You're right, though. You're right.
Okay.
Absolutely. I saw the same thing you saw.
Confused.
Okay.
But his daddy was the janitor. They just wanted you to make sure that you knew his daddy was the janitor at the school.
Yeah, but then I was like, okay, so it just was a little detached for me because they show him and he already has his abilities, and then they cut to his dad getting infected, and to me it looked like that happened after.
But didn't you see the mother and the father hold the son? So absolutely.
Yeah, I was just confused. It didn't, like, when I first watched it, there was like something.
It doesn't make
Travis with you. Trav said his mom was pregnant. How he a machine? Because
I was confused. That's why I thought he was a mutant. Because when I was watching, I was like, why does he hate mutants?
It's like a techno-organic thing. So it's organic and technology. So that's why he looked like a person.
Have kids.
That's why he they can reproduce. So all the motherfuckers can reproduce. But that's an excellent point. His mama absolutely was pregnant with a whole ass robot in her stomach. A whole ass robot.
But Cable was telling you he got injected with the techno just like I did.
And
like Sinister did.
Yeah, it's just the timeline was confused. Like it was
the way they showed it was confusing. That's very true. That's facts.
So he went out
now
there.
It makes sense. But I did notice that, so I just wanted, if you rewatch it, you'll see Stark Expo stuff in the bedroom.
He went out there, and Gene was like, "Hey, dog, you got any more of them grenades? Like, can we just take care of this old bitch and keep it moving?" And Cable's like, "I ain't got enough for all them niggas." And
and you
look up
see
in the
a sky
sky,
full of these Prime Sentinels.
1 million Prime Sentinels, and then Beast. And listen, I am not. Listen, I don't care what the showrunner tells me. I don't care what anybody listening says. Beast activated them motherfuckers. He had the Prime Sentinel from Gyrick in the X Mansion, and Tilly or whatever the fuck her name was like, "What you doing with this one? Can you tell anybody else?" He says, "We about to tell any second how many more of them they are." And he did something, and then next thing I know, all these motherfuckers light up and they turn into Sentinels. I'm telling you, Beast did that shit. I promise you, Hank McCoy did that shit. You will not convince me Hank McCoy ain't do that shit. And I don't even know if he did that shit on accident, to be honest with you.
Okay, I mean, I think he definitely, if he did do it, it was an accident.
I've seen Hank McCoy do a lot of shit. Do you know why Hank McCoy is blue? Do you know why Hank McCoy is blue?
He used to be gray. That's what you told me.
He did used to be gray. Do you know why he's blue?
No.
Do you know why he was gray?
No.
He used to be a whole ass white man with a big hands and big feet and a big face. And he was like,
that's when he had the mask.
I don't really want to be black no more. I don't want to be mutant anymore.
So
I don't want to be gay no more. I'm gonna go to conversion camp.
Okay.
And he go and he tampered with himself, and he turned into a gray person. And then he's a gray furry person. I don't want to be, I don't like this. I don't like myself. And he tampered with himself again, and he turned into a whole blue person.
Okay.
He do some fuck shit. Don't
trust that man. Isn't that a real struggle people go through?
Yeah, that's an allegory right there, Michael. Good job, Michael. He has identity crisis. He was struggling. Crisis. He's an imposter in his own body, Brandon.
Yeah.
He just wants to be a white man again. That's all he wants.
Trav said them Rob Zombies are so
That's what they look like, though.
They do look like Rob Zombies.
Yeah. It does. It does look like a Rob Zombie movie.
They got sliced the lunch meat, regenerate, and they were fast as a Quinjet. Yeah, man. They self-reproduce. That's why Nimrods can't be destroyed. These Prime Set, they can. You have to either completely disable them,
take out the main
one. What we saw at the end, or you have to disintegrate them, be powerful enough to disintegrate them, or trick them in some way because they just keep coming. They just keep coming.
So okay, what they don't show, they didn't show that Sinister was doing all the experiments and he activated them. But did he get everybody in the small town, or he got everybody in the fucking world? Because it seemed like everybody in the fucking world.
No, not everybody. There were a bunch of people who were not.
I think it was just New York.
Up,
in the New York, the West, the area. I think Bastion did his whole town, and then he got a bunch of people in New York. So in the comic books, it's even more fucked up than this. So in the comic books, Bastion goes and works at and this is what I do remember. Bastion goes and works at a clinic to help disabled people, and he's supposed to be helping disabled people walk again, be able to get feeling in their hand, get out of a wheelchair, noble shit. What he's really doing is infecting them with the techno-organic virus so that he can turn them into fucking Sentinels.
Goddamn.
That's what he did.
That's great. That's great comic book, right? That's great.
I mean, he's an evil motherfucker. And so everybody, they get in this big ass fight. They fight in the X Mansion. They're fighting in Harmony. Jubilee and DaCosta getting chased by a couple. His butler turns into a motherfucking Prime Sentinel. And I'm gonna jump ahead a little bit just to finish that story. They chased this man into his mama's fundraiser, and he's like, "Mama, they trying to kill us." And she said,
"You should go with
him. I gotta make this money, son. So you're gonna have to take that walk with them." Like she's a despicable person. Despicable.
To her goddamn baby.
Yeah.
Morph turned into Juggernaut in the fight too.
Now we did get a cool ass Nightcrawler scene. Where
that was my favorite scene in the whole episode.
Why?
I just thought it was awesome because Wolverine was like,
"Hold on, what was the favorite part? When he had 3 swords, or when he was chopping people up and disappearing?"
No, it was cool because, like, obviously I don't know as much about Nightcrawler as Brandon or you guys do from the show or the comics, but like in this show, he's just kind of like this really nice religious person. You don't really, he teleports and stuff. And then Wolverine is like, I'll give you 6 reasons. And then Nightcrawler goes in there. He's like, nah, you got not what he's 9.
Again, the 3 sword thing, Michael. People. Shit, I just said that shit. I just fucking said that shit. It's a 3. You know what?
I'm saying that was my favorite. I loved it.
Nightcrawler is a nice person.
He's a great person.
When he gets mad.
Well, and they were going for his sister.
There's a scenario. There's a scene in a book one time where he like put somebody in a headlock, and then he teleported, and the head came with him, and the rest of the body did not come with him, and that person was no more good.
That is
no more
wild.
Good.
That is wild.
So yeah, they get a super cool fight scene because we get to see Wolverine use his claws, fuck some people up, which was good. We saw Jean basically drive a car with her mind while Cyclops and Cable fuck people up out the sunroof. They was out the sunroof like Sexy Red in Miami. Like they was riding down in South Beach. They had the music going and Cable and Cyclops hanging out the sunroof. And
it was during this scene that I pulled my phone out and texted like 10 of my friends that they were all sleeping on this show.
Hold on, you have friends that don't like the show, Michael?
Huh?
You have friends that don't like the show?
They just don't watch. No, it's not. They don't watch it. They didn't grow up with 90. I mean, to be fair, if we weren't doing this for the show, I probably wouldn't be watching it. Because like I have no connection.
Born in '96. Yes, you were born in '96.
I was 1, Devin. Yeah. I wasn't watching X-Men.
You were born in '96. Again, you were born in '96. So
Mike's been hanging out with the chuds. You understand that. You gotta understand that.
I don't know what that means, but I told all my friends, I was like, you all watch the X-Men.
A chud is... I'm fucking... Mike is not a chud for those watching. Oh, Travis said it wasn't a sunroof. Cable punched the roof off. Okay, that's what happened? Of course Cable punched the roof off. His Cable is ridiculous. So yeah, okay, I didn't realize that. I thought he just got out the sunroof and was chilling. So he made his own sunroof. Okay.
Big motherfucker. That's a big motherfucker.
And so yes, they basically had this big ass fight, and then they arrest Jubilee and Roberto. How they even arrest? They don't got no fucking authority. This is a citizen's arrest, android arrest.
I didn't understand that either. I was confused.
He's like, you go with those nice men, Roberto.
But hey, they got them collars on deck. They had them collars on deck.
Racist ass mama. Yo, racist ass mama.
And then we get the call that Ski, somebody let motherfucking Magneto out. Ski.
Yeah. Valerie felt bad, so she didn't want to go full Karen. So she was like, I gotta do something good. So, she saw the Holocaust brand. It's like,
goddamn.
I feel like this ain't right. So she let Magneto out. Bastion teleports home, and in the meantime, this is where we get a ton of cameos that we brought up earlier. Mike, did you see the cameos?
I think I saw all of them.
What'd you
Spider-Man.
See? Okay.
And then there was another one.
Silver Samurai.
Dr. Doom.
Omega Red. Zemo. Okay, you did see them.
Am I missing? I feel like I'm missing one person.
Omega Red.
I don't know who Omega Red is.
Omega Red is like a super soldier.
He got the Captain America when they was in Russia. That's what he got. He got the.
Is he the guy that was in the movie, Black Widow movie?
Yes.
David Harbour.
No, that's not Omega Red.
No.
Omega Red.
But I saw Doom. I saw Spider-Man.
You ain't see the guy that was in the water and the things came out of his arms and he broke through the glass?
Oh, yeah. Well, there was two scenes. There's when Magneto's doing his thing, and then there's the scene when Bastion's talking to all the people that all the cameos happen.
Yeah. And we saw Spider-Man swinging through the town. I wonder if we'll see Spider-Man at the end of the season, like help them out in a big-ass fight. It'll be interesting to see.
I mean, before Magneto just solved the problem for everyone, I was watching this and I was like, "There's no way they can do this on their own. Like, they need at least the Avengers." I don't even know if that would be enough.
So, Mike, are you going to tell the people about the science of what Magneto did?
I'm not sure what he did.
It's EMP. You got to be EMP.
Yeah,
I didn't know he could do that.
He went to
the North Pole, Michael.
The magnetic pole of Earth, and he set off the EMP that went through the entire. So he probably shut down the entire Earth, because you gotta understand, Magneto's an Omega level mutant, and so what Omega level means is that there's no upper limit to their power. That's how you become an Omega level mutant. So, like, if there's an upper limit, if there's like a limit to your power, you're not Omega. There can be some really powerful people who have a limit. The people who we don't know what their limit is, that makes you Omega. So Magneto just proved I can send an EMP throughout the entire Earth, the entire Earth, through the poles, through the poles of the magnetic fields of Earth.
But you got to realize, so like you're in the pole, the core of the Earth is metal, like it's literally essentially he's sitting on a magnet, like.
Yes.
So that's wild. It's wild.
You get back to the mansion. Wolverine's like, Magneto really did that shit. That's right. While they were talking, the
victory lap.
Cooper was doing like a voiceover, and she said that Magneto was right. Shit.
That's the victory lap.
I got that. I should have wore that T-shirt today. I got it somewhere.
You should have.
But the Magneto was right, and Wolverine was like, Magneto really did that shit. And it was like, what? Send out an EMP? He was like, no.
Started the war.
He was like, I really wish Charles was here. And then something crashed in the fucking mansion. That mansion's fucked up. That mansion gets destroyed all the time.
All the time. Again, how the fuck did they get keeping this X-Jets in this mansion back? How the fuck who is doing this?
Charles is a rich white man. He got the money. And he probably got insurance.
Also, don't they just use telekinesis to fix it every time? I mean, I feel like if you got superpowers,
they got superpowers.
They got superpowers, you're right. But I'm just saying, like, this shit get blown up.
We see this alien take their helmet off, and it's Charles. And Charles says, "To me, my X-Men." And we see Storm, which we haven't seen fight in a couple episodes. She's going to be back with a vengeance. And I'm ready for the rest of the season.
I mean, we got 2 episodes left, so you should be ready. You should be in there already. But man, Mike. So overall, Mike, what do you think about this show?
No, I love it. I called Brandon after I watched it, after I texted all my friends, and I was like, Brandon, I think this is the best comic book show I've ever seen.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, it's fucking great.
I still can't. I've been thinking I still can't think of one.
There isn't one. Like Nick Toon did the X-Men, Wolverine and X-Men. That was good.
That's not anywhere close to this.
But it's not even close. Yeah, it's not. But I mean, it was good because we never got a really good story of the X-Men past the '97 version, the OG version of this.
And it's actually fun. James Gunn had a comment about the X-Men show recently because someone tweeted him. I don't know if you saw this, Brandon. Someone tweeted James Gunn and they were like, "Yo, X-Men is so good. You should do Justice League 2007 or whatever the next year would be." And he was like, James Gunn responded, and he was like, the reason it's so good is because they're doing something different, not expected, something that hasn't been done before. So we're not going to go and they're not following all the current tropes and trends, which is why it's so cool and so unique. We're not going to go follow all the tropes and trends and do the same exact thing that they're doing. So
Trav said Silver Surfer's one season is fantastic. No, that season was crazy. and they put a ton of money into that show for like the 90s. Like the animation looked incredible.
It did.
But people didn't watch that shit, so they canceled it. But it's still on Disney Plus. I think it's still on Disney Plus. At least it
should
was
be.
at one point.
Yeah.
If y'all haven't watched that, Travis right. Go watch the
Silver
Silver Surfer from the 90s. Came on after X-Men the Animated Series.
So
I think it's on Disney Plus. It's
I think
really
the
good.
closest that I can think of that I've seen is Young Justice season 2.
I mean,
Or
Young
one.
Justice is
1 and 2.
excellent.
It's excellent, but it's not this. It's not this. It's really good.
No, they're pretty close, but I think this is better.
So Young Justice is good because, again, DC does animation so well.
Yeah, the animation is really good.
And like all their animated canon is so good, they have something to build off. But their story isn't nothing like this. Like they're not doing any of this stuff. Like other than like you get not Huntress, but what's that? Tigress and her sister shit and Cheshire Cat and all this other. You get like little family dynamics, but you don't have the storytelling, the allegories that you have with the X-Men. You're not getting that in Young Justice. It's just like, what the fuck is happening? We feel bad for Connor. What the fuck's going on with the Justice League? There's a lot of other things going on, but we're familiar with DC like as an animation. We're not, but Marvel being so bad at their movies, finally getting over here to tell the right story makes it better.
Yeah, I agree.
Because again, like even if you watch, you ain't fuck with the Infinite Crisis Part 1, but that shit was really good. It's what DC they do their storytelling, they do their comic book shit really good to bring it over to animation, and we haven't got that from Marvel yet. And like just coming back and reintroducing people into how good the Marvel storylines are is everything. Like these characters are people we give a fuck about. You know, like you see. Like, me seeing Omega Red makes me want Sabretooth and Wolverine to just have a fucking triple threat match, and it should be the best thing ever. You know what I mean? Like, that shit matters to me. Me seeing Spider-Man being able to be in Manhattan the same time as Wolverine and the Incredible Hulk at some point in time, this shit is going to be fucking ridiculous. You know what I mean? Like, so, like, DC can't touch that shit with a 50-inch pole. It's just not going to be the same. Like, so... yeah, it's not close. But Young Justice is great. I love that shit. Like
Trav says, same reason people hate Eternals, saying they didn't watch Silver Surfer. Too much thinking. Yep.
That's facts. That's facts.
Yep.
That's facts.
So
you can't get the average person to be like a Celestial. The fuck? Like you can't get somebody to buy into that.
Couple more things before we get out of here. My favorite cartoon from last year is coming back next month. My Adventures of Superman season 2.
Oh, that is a good show. That's a really good show.
That was a good one.
Mike tried to tell me that's an anime.
No, they did some.
That's not an anime.
They took some of the animation, like cues, but that's not an anime.
That's not an anime.
That's not an anime.
But it's a fucking great show, man. It's the best Superman. I fucking love that show so much.
No, man. I don't know. OG, like Adventures of Superman.
You talking about Superman the animated series? That's better than Superman the animated series.
That shit started getting good. When it was Superman and Batman, that shit got really good, yo.
Mike, so you know Batman the animated series, right?
Of course.
Did you know it was a Superman the animated series?
Yeah.
Superman and Batman Adventures. You saw that shit.
I was really big into the Justice League cartoon and the animated. I mean, I wasn't watching either of those shows when they came out.
Well, you weren't alive.
Well, I know, but not for the animated series.
He wasn't alive. He was 3. He was like 3 and 4.
Justice League, I was definitely around for. I don't think I was, but I didn't even watch that. I did watch reruns of it. Like they would be on TV and I would like it. So you could still make the argument that I grew up on the Justice League cartoon because that was like 2006. So I was like 9. So that was way more. And I think that was the end of it. But I watched. So when I got into, like a couple years later, like when I was in my early teens, I got into the Justice League cartoon, and then I discovered the animated series of Batman, and then I discovered the Superman one, and I saw there was even like a Green Lantern one. I didn't watch all of it, but I've seen like a bunch of clips from all those shows.
Devin, did you finish Shogun?
No.
Oh my God.
Again, Brandon, you have to understand. I have issue with like it'd be so good that
It's
I don't want it to
over.
end. I don't want it to end.
It ain't no
It's not
season
over for
2.
Devin. It's
They're
not
not
over
make-
for Devin.
They're not making a season 2.
I don't give a fuck. I just don't want it. I don't want it to be over yet. Just like I ain't finished Curve yet. I'm on episode 8 of that shit and episode 9 of Shogun. I don't want the shit to be over. I'm sorry. It's just so good. So good. I'm sad. God damn it, I'm sad. But I mean, I guess I'll get there.
Trav said it's an anime like the Boondocks is an anime. Oh yeah, I guess the Boondocks does use anime type
Just drawing
animations. Yeah. That makes sense. And the last thing, because I wanted to do one topic for Devin to see what he thinks before we get out of here. While I'm pulling this up, me and Mike are going to be doing a show this weekend for May the 4th. May the 4th be with you.
Yeah.
And there's some show that's coming on Disney Plus that's like 6 episodes of Star Wars. I forget what it's called. What's it called, Mike?
Tales of the Empire.
Tales of the Empire is coming out. And so
you're such a fucking dork. I love you so much, Michael.
What did he do?
You don't see this man put a whole
my God.
he put a whole
I'm ready for my May the 4th episode.
Such a fucking dork. Thank you, Michael.
Does that one have the voice? Do the voice.
Oh yeah, it does have a voice. It'll be easier when I set up my iPad for that show.
Look at this shit.
Wait. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you, Michael. Say something else.
Fuck Star Wars.
It sounds weird, right?
So weird. But it sounds like you could be out there. Like you want to die. Like you want to be
He loves Star Wars, Trav. That's his favorite shit.
Wait, what did he say?
He said fuck Star Wars.
Oh, I love Star Wars.
We know, Michael. We know.
All right, Devin. I got an article here.
I brought all this stuff from home for our episode.
I got an article here for you, Devin, because I want to get your opinion.
Okay. It's fearing. It's already fearing. Don't worry about it. It's fearing.
The best anime of 2024 so far.
It's fearing.
Okay?
It's fearing. It's not even close, man.
So on this list is Sandland, the series. Have you watched that?
That just came out fucking maybe 4 weeks ago, yo.
Is it good?
I haven't watched it.
Oh, you usually be on that.
No, I mean I've seen it, but I didn't. There's so many good Brandon. There's only so much good time and only time I have in a day. Like I listened to this audiobook called The Magic Around You. It's fucking amazing. I listen to a lot of audiobooks. I be trying to do other shit than do nerd shit.
Trav got me into audiobooks because he used to always listen to them shit, and I would see them. And I was like, maybe I need to start. And I think it was when we were talking about His Dark Materials, and I went and got to His Dark Materials audiobook. That's how I got into that shit.
Bro, so good.
By the way, that audiobook for His Dark Materials, they hired an entire cast.
Yeah,
so it's like a play.
Graphic audio. It's called graphic audio.
Yeah, it's fucking great.
Yo, anytime you can get anything done by graphic audio, it literally says it's a movie in your mind. It's fucking great. There's a really popular book called The Fourth Wing and Iron Flame by Rebecca. I can't remember her name, but anyway, we'll do that again when I write.
Trav said Devin peeped the lit RPG game lit genre.
Okay.
Check that out.
Okay.
So this one is for fans of Akira Toriyama. Sandland, the series, is one of the most bittersweet animes in 2024. Based on the original single-volume manga, the series is both an adaptation and expansion of the source material, chronicling the adventures of an elderly sheriff named Rao, who journeys across a vast and treacherous desert in search of a legendary spring to rescue its village from drought. With the aid of Beelzebub, a high-spirited demon prince with a love of video games and mischief, and his companion Thief, Rao faces off against a royal army led by nefarious Supreme Commander Zu in their quest to liberate the people of Sandland. You got liberation in this anime?
Man, that ain't nothing but Dragon Ball Z, man. Fuck you. But no.
All right, so then they have Bucci Girl. Bucci.
That's not. I haven't seen that shit either.
Have you seen that?
No.
Oh, this is. Remember we started watching this, Devin, from the director of Skate to Infinity.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Okay.
With another original anime. It's a comedy anime about Araji Tomu Bishi, a shy young student who transfers to a new school filled with roughnecks and gangsters. Worse yet, he gets possessed by a powerful genie whose power inadvertently pits him between two of the strongest gangs in the school.
Put that link in the chat on the.
Yeah, I'll send it to you. To top it off, the poor guy just wants to lose his virginity, and instead he just ends up accidentally punching people, getting himself into an increasingly deadlier and more precarious situation. That actually sounds kind of funny.
That's funny.
Then we have Brave Bang Bravern. Have you watched that one?
Nope. These got to be new because I ain't never heard. I ain't seen none of these guys.
Well, it says 2024, so it's only been 4 months.
What I'm saying, like I ain't seen none of like Sandland is out. I've seen that. Like
it's like a giant robot anime, like Gundam.
Like, so again, for animes, we had the winter for 2024, and now we're in the spring of 2024, and like now we're in like week 5 or 6 of spring anime, and then we'll have summer, and then we'll have winter again. I mean fall. I'm saying fall. Excuse me. But so like that's how it goes. So like I don't even know if some of these shits are out. You know what I mean? Like I haven't seen any of these. Like just because people reviewed them don't mean they're out.
Metallic Rogue. I heard this was good. Somebody recommended this to me. This is a black character in it.
It's good. It's not bad, but it's not. I'm not really fucking with it.
This one got a black character though, right?
I mean,
somebody told me it was a black person in this one. That's why I should watch it.
I guess later in the season, but I didn't like. It's good. It's futuristic and it doesn't move fast. They had a train episode where like, so she's supposed to be like a fugitive, and like she's not supposed to be a thing, but she's a fucking robot. The main character is a fucking robot. And I'm not opposed to it, but it's been done before, and I really like it.
You don't seem very excited. Okay. Solo Leveling. Have you seen that one?
That shit is everything. That shit is everything.
That one you like? Okay.
Yes, that is everything.
I didn't know anything about it, other than it was one of the most anticipated animes of the season. I didn't even look up the premise before diving in. By the time the credits rolled in the 3rd episode, I honestly still couldn't have told you what precisely was happening. But I did know I was hooked. Blending typical fantasy adventure beats with video game elements, Solo Leveling is a unique and thrilling take on the typical zero-to-hero narrative. Bing Jin-woo is not the most dynamic protagonist, I must admit, but spectacular animation, impeccable choreographed action, and realistic-paced storytelling always leaves me itching to smash play the next episode.
Absolutely.
The Apothecary Diaries. Have you watched that, Devin?
I've seen 2 episodes. It's really good, but it's really wordy. So like, it's one thing to make a really good anime, but then like it's like historical, and then like it's like Shogun almost. Like you have to pay attention to what they're saying, and like that can kind of like turn you off. And then like you want to wait for it to be all in dub, so you can actually like really enjoy it. Because like anime, this the inflection points and stuff like that, and then having to read stuff, it doesn't really hold you. But it's not a bad show. Like again, I understand why people like it, but it's not for me. I'm gonna wait for it to come in all dubbed, and I'll watch it in dub. But I'm not really like a week to week person with that, and I think that's over as well for this season.
All right, couple more, and then we will get out of here. Sign of Affection. You watched that, Devin?
No, that's a romance. That shit might be all right though.
Do you watch romance anime?
Hey man, them shits be good, man. If you wanna, hey man, it's on Netflix. I can't remember what that shit called. Something about marriage. That shit is good. Like, you look, man. You ever want to cry? Boy, these fucking Japanese people know what the fuck. They know how to pull some heartstrings. You be like, people be having these downtrodden stories where people be so goddamn cruel, and then somebody love them, and then like they do romantic shit, they do gestures and shit. You be like, man, I'm about to cry. Like this shit is crazy. Like
Beyond Journey's End. Have you watched that?
That shit is the best. It's the best. It's literally the best. I told you it's the best. I'm saying it with my chest. It's the best fucking show ever. It's literally, it's a show about reflection. It's a show about adventuring. It's a show about friendships. It's a show about being present in the moment. It's a fucking amazing show. It's a show about mentoring. It's a great show. It's literally my favorite show. There was 28 episodes for the first season.
Jesus, 28 episodes.
Yeah, man. Shit was good, bro. Shit good, man.
And the last one on here is Delicious in Dungeon.
Hey, it's on Netflix. Watch that shit. It's really good as well.
Looks like Super Mario.
No, so okay, Delicious in Dungeon is like boom, it's an adventure show, but what happens is they don't really show how these people be eating and surviving in these dungeons that they be trying to level up in and shit, right? So what happens is one of the main characters, his sister, is in his party, and that bitch get ate by a dragon. On them, they out here fighting the dragon. This bitch get ate by a dragon. They leave the dungeon. But my man's like, that's my sister, bro. I gotta go get this. I'm going to go kill this fucking red dragon. So he's like, boom, who coming with me? So like 2 people in this party leave. Don't go back in the dungeon with them. And these other people are like, well, fuck, we gotta go get. That's my girl too. We going in there. So they go in there and they meet this guy that's been living in the dungeon for maybe several years or whatever. And they're like, how the fuck you been living down here? You know what I do? I eat these motherfucking dungeon creatures. Boom. This man out here, it's food wars with some Dungeons and Dragons type shit, bro. Like, it's fucking really good. Like, the character development is really good. You meet people that are interested in eating these dungeon creatures, and then I find it fascinating to eat them. You find a locksmith, he's like a nymph. He's really good at figuring out puzzles. You find a dwarf. He's the one that does all the cooking. You got a mage. She's mystical and she's she's a genius mage, but people don't fuck with her because she does dark magic or whatever and shit like that. And then there's this the typical slasher brute guy that's in there, which is the brother of the sister that they're trying to rescue. And once they rescue her, there's some shit that goes on, and this story takes off. It's I think it's over. I think the first season's over, but it might be on Netflix. So I don't know.
Just a couple minutes to give Mike something to talk about before we get out of here. Star Wars is releasing 7 new Lego sets for May the 4th.
Okay.
Mike, did you buy any of these yet?
I was going to talk about this on Saturday, but yeah, I'm buying. Because I was every year they do. What?
You took your glasses off. You're like, yeah.
Well, every year, I had to think for a second. We'll remember what the rewards were, but every year, basically, there's usually three different tiers of rewards you get if you spend a certain amount of money on specifically Lego Star Wars between May 1 and May 5. So it's usually a whole set, a set you can only get for May the 4th. So last year they did the same thing. This year they're doing it again. Last year, for example, last year it was. If you did all 3, it was $200. You got a mini Death Star, a micro. They're called micro builds, so it's really small, not even the size of a baseball, little Death Star that you can put on your desk that you get. Then there was a coin. No one really likes the coins. We all prefer the Lego sets. That was the mid tier, and then the high tier was I don't remember what it was last year, but this year you get a whole. It's the same thing. There's a coin as the mid tier. There's a micro build of a separatist tank, and then the third highest is a separatist troop carrier. And so a lot that's good for if you're like me with the whole city. The people are called little minifigures. So a whole troop carrier with 6 or 7 droids would be great because I could just throw that right in this right in a diorama. So
that's nerdy. I fucking love that shit. That's fucking nerdy.
But last year I liked the sets more, so I actually had to struggle to find stuff that I actually liked enough to spend the highest amount of money on. So I'm buying the model of the R2, the little.
All right, hold on, Mike. I'm gonna go through them so we can get out of here. We have the Lego Star Wars Interceptor. Are you getting this one, Mike?
That's the new UCS series.
Are you getting this one?
I don't. So that's one of my favorite ships. So that one will cover all the rewards. I don't know because I have one and it looks like this is the UCS version, so it's going to be bigger and more detailed. But I'm waiting for someone to review it online because I have a TIE Interceptor. It's obviously just going to be smaller, so I just want to see what people think before I spend it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the Interceptor. It's a really cool ship. It's one of my favorite Star Wars ships.
This has 931 pieces. It's a new redesign. From the one that was released a while back. It's 40 centimeters. It comes with a TIE Pilot minifigure, a mouse droid figure, and a mounted stand with a printed plaque. Like that's kind of cool.
Yeah, so that's these are the UCS series. Like the UCS is like the AT-AT that I have, the Star Destroyer, the really detailed sets, and typically the most expensive sets are the UCS, which is Ultimate Collector's Series. So that's what that is.
Then we have Lego's Most Espa diorama. Oh, that one looks basic as fuck.
Yeah, you've got to scroll down a little bit to show it, Brendan. But I don't like the dioramas. I have never.
Yeah,
you see it, Mike?
Yeah, I saw. I'm not getting
little
that
kid
one.
science project. That shit is terrible.
Then we have Darth Maul Sith Infiltrator.
I'm down with that.
There's that one, Mike. 680 pieces. It comes with a spring loader shooter so you can shoot shit, and a DRK-1 droid.
I'm down with that.
That was only $70.
So, Mike, when you build these Lego sets and shit.
Oh, that was cool, Mike. What is that? Droidica?
Keep going.
That's one of the ones I'm getting. That's one of two.
Oh, that is cool. Okay, that's from
that one I'm getting because I think that's one of the rolling droids with the shields that are like really hard to kill. They're like the Jedi call them Devastators, I think, or Destroyers.
It comes with Jar Jar Binks.
Yeah, so here's something. Okay, so I was going to talk about this on Saturday, but since you brought it up, I'm going to talk about it now. So, like, a lot of people buy these for minifigures. For the minifigures are where a lot of the money is at for Lego. That's the little people, okay? So, at some point, Lego figured this. What?
Is that? What the fuck is Jar? I'm trying to see if I see.
No, it just comes with them. It's not in the picture.
Okay, cool.
Oh, yeah. So at some point Lego figured out that people really like the minifigures. So it's not one of the first set I'm buying is the Droidica just because I didn't like any of the other ones. That was my favorite. But you need to spend $200 to get the reward. So you can still get it by buying any Lego Star Wars set. So recently, like a month or two ago, they released a new R2 model. I like R2. He's not my favorite. I would never buy this, but he comes with randomly a minifigure of a Star Wars Old Republic Sith called Darth Malak, which has never been released. So they put it with the R2 because they know that some people will buy the set just for Darth Malak because they're like, did you know? So I was at a Lego convention in Texas actually. I went with Rachel when I visited her family. They had the most expensive Lego set in the world. I think if it's not the most, it's one of. It's Lego Star Wars Cloud City. And it's because of the Lando Calrissian minifigure. It's like one of the rarest in the world. Yeah. So it's $12,000. It was literally on sale though. So I don't think that's not what I'm saying is going to happen here. But at some point, Lego was like, people like the minifigures. Let's just start putting rare and random ones in with sets so that people will buy them. So R2-D2, that one's going to come with Darth Malak. So I'm going to get it.
My beautiful better half is watching for some reason. I'm surprised, but I'm thankful. And she said, I thought I put Mike on game with the TikTok Lego table, and he literally told me to shut my basic ass up. She likes your Lego. She likes your Lego table, Mike.
Oh, thank you. I love thank you. Someone's got to.
All right, so then we have this one, Mike. This one looks basic. This is Commander Cody. What the fuck is that?
Yeah, so they do these. They do these. I forget what these are called. They do these for Harry Potter too, and some of the other brands. They do them for a bunch of franchises. I don't buy those. I bought some of the helmets.
We have a speeder. We have a speeder that comes with Grogu, Kelleran Beck, and 2 clone troopers.
Yep.
And then we have these look kind of cool from the Brick.
So that's another example.
Those are cool, Mike.
Heads.
Actually,
that is cool.
Those are kind of cool.
Those are cool.
That one's cool because it comes with a lot, but those are not my. Yeah, but the one of Kelleran Beck is another good example.
Are you gonna get the coffee table book, Mike?
No, it's like $200. It's like $150. It's ridiculous. That's $75. I'm not paying $150 for a Lego Star Wars coffee table book.
But when you have guests over, Michael, you can show them.
I actually have a lot of coffee table books, but they're all of the ocean.
Oh,
of course they are. Of course.
Yeah.
I think that's very neat.
So, Mike, the joy of building these Lego sets is from just building them and just leaving them there? You can't play with these things, right?
I mean, I have the whole city, so I move them around all the time. I don't play with them, but like I'll rearrange them. I make them like if you've ever seen like if you like I'll send you some close-ups when I get back to DC. Like there's whole battles going on. I've got like the little clear pieces, so I can make people look like they're flying. And I have like Darth Vader's on a roof, and he's force pushing like 6 clones off the roof, and I made it look like very explosive. Like I mean,
that's pretty cool. That's really cool.
Like sometimes when I'm bored and like I don't want to play games or something, I need to give my eyes a break. I'll just spin my chair around and rearrange the diorama. Like it's a whole city at this point, and I want it to keep getting bigger.
Huh.
My wife said, "You got to go hard, Mike, and buy the book."
Maybe I will, just because she wants me to. I mean, it was a cool. Like
you're that
cool
easily
book.
influenced, sir. Do better.
It's just
this
$150.
guy does have a flamethrower. He does have a flamethrower. This is a guy that has a flamethrower, y'all. Elon Musk.
Yeah, where's your flamethrower?
So the last time I hooked it up, it took a while for the propane to make the connection. I'm afraid if I do it again, it's going to blow up in my arms.
I mean, he has a track record for that.
Like I want to test it, but I also don't want to lose my skin.
I feel like you could come up with an elaborate way to safely test it, Michael. I need you to get on it, like a pull string.
It's been on my long-term list of things to do.
Get your Home Alone on, Michael. That's what I want you to do. I want you to be Kevin McCullough, like Macaulay Culkin.
You know what? By next week, maybe not next week because I'm not home for a while, but I'll test it. Before
Kevin
we finish.
McCallister. That's that boy's name. Kevin McCallister from the movie. God damn, I couldn't remember that shit. But yeah, a string and just and see if it still works. Just see if it still works. But I want you to be safe.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We did a crisp 90 minutes.
We did that.
We did a crisp 90 minutes.
We got to do better. We'll do better, y'all. We'll do better. People travel. I'm in Kansas City right now, so Mike's not in his home. So we appreciate y'all. We appreciate y'all.
So we'll be back next week for episode 9. Tolerance of Extinction.
We'll be back on Saturday.
Part 2. No, we'll be back live for this. Mike and I are going to record on Saturday for May the 4th, and we're going to have that. That'll be available on YouTube. So if you want to hear about Tales of the Empire, go check us out on YouTube at Cool Black Nerd on YouTube, and we will be on there talking about that and other stuff that he has to bring up about Star Wars shit that'll get me. I think he wants to talk about the Bad Batch, which
That's a good show, Brandon. Have you watched it?
I have not watched it.
Series finale was today.
Not watched the Bad Batch, but I will find out about it this weekend.
It's so good. It's really good.
So if you're still listening, remember, leave a 5-star review on Apple or Spotify. It really helps us out. Go subscribe to the YouTube channel. We got a few subscribers last week, so I don't know if someone watching somewhere else went and subscribed, but keep doing that. It helps us out. Try to hit that algorithm, because that YouTube algorithm is something. So go follow that Cool Black Nerd on YouTube and subscribe. Mike and I will be back this Saturday. All 3 of us will be back next week to talk about X-Men, the penultimate, I love that word, episode of X-Men 97. At some point, Devin will watch Shogun, and we can finally talk about
finish watching
my favorite show of all time. And
it's not your favorite show. You like it more than Game of Thrones?
Absolutely. Shogun's my favorite show of all time.
I feel like it's the best limited series that's ever been done on TV. I'm not going to lie about that.
It's the best.
Yeah.
So we will review that at some point. Until then, we'll talk to y'all later. Peace.
Peace.